So I realize there's only two of you, so we won't do breakout rooms today. But this is the first week or meeting of the Algos side of Code Zero, which will be open to all alumni, whether they signed up for Code Zero in general or not. That way it's just open to everybody. Not sure if you guys saw the post, but my position at Coding Zero has been eliminated. So as of January 31st, I will no longer be instructor Melissa. I will just be Melissa. My plan is, because it's an alumni thing, to continue running it regardless, because I really enjoyed the collaboration myself. And it just builds my own soft skills. So the algo side, the Code Zero side, it's just going to keep building my own soft skills and add more projects to my own portfolio. So I'm going to keep it going as long as I can. So yeah, that's that. So as far as I'm aware right now, Code Zero is not going away because I don't want it to. In terms of, where is it? There it is. The algos. The algos I have run as, where's my little thingy? Where week one is, where's it go? Where'd it go? Week one for algos is going to be every month we're going to do pretty much the same pattern, just different algos. Well, so week one is going to be, we're going to give you guys an algo with a solution already done. So instead of just the problem and then you solve it, and you're going to English size it. Can you understand what the code is saying, and can you explain it to a non-developer? We have heard that people coming out of boot camps can solve an algo, but they can't explain why they solved it the way they did and why it works, or why they chose the path they chose in solving the algos. So that's where we're, with the CodeZeroAlgos session, that's where we're going to try to focus on, is the whole picture, not just solving the algos and getting those technical interviews done, but the whys behind it. So like this week, week one is going to be all about English sizing the algos. Can I take a solved algo like FizzBuzz, which is what we're going to do tonight, and can I put to English word, just plain English words, what the algo means, so that a non-developer can understand that this is this, or we did it this way because of XYZ or whatever. And we do have multiple meetings, if I can find it, but apparently I can't. So the link will always be the same. Well, actually, no, the link will change eventually because my thing will go away. But I have the plans for that one. So for week one, we have tonight's meeting, and then we have one again on Tuesday and Thursday, same time as tonight's. And that's continuing the whole week one of solving an algo. And I'm going to try to have different algos each night. So in case you go to all three sessions, you get a different experience with an algo. But I'll also still have like tonight's for those that couldn't make tonight. They can go and solve that same algo a different night. So let me bring this over here and make that bigger. And then let me grab my thing because I forgot to grab it. I know I have it here somewhere. I just have to find it. Sorry, I didn't mean to be wasting time like this, but no, I definitely don't want to do that one. Not that one either. Search, there it is. No, come on, I want this one. Okay, when you go to search, how do you actually go to the file? Oh, there it is. Found it. Okay. I don't know why I couldn't find that before. New file. All right. So let me share my screen. All right. So first off, so you have it. If you go to alumni.dojo-ninja.com, it'll take you right to here. I have it currently forwarding to this Google site, where we have everything listed. I'm going to do my best to keep the calendar of events updated. Right now I have this week's and the Zoom link that we're in right now. And like I said, week 1 is going to be explain the algo. So tonight's algo, like I said, is FizzBuzz. So anybody who either, because there's just the 2 of you in here right now, or just Annie, can you explain using English words, basically, what the algo is doing?
Let me think a little bit.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
So, I mean, if I just walk through it line by line, it's just a function called FizzBuzz. And then we have a for loop going through I starts from 1 to 20. And then we have the if condition, which checks actually if the number is divisible by 3 and basically divisible by 3 and remaining is 0, and if it's divisible by 5. So at the same time should be divisible by 3 and 5, and the remaining should be 0. So it's going to console log FizzBuzz. And then if that condition is not satisfying, so it's going to go to else if. And that's when it only checks for if the number is divisible by 3. Which means like if the first condition is not right, so it goes to the second one, divisible by 3. And if it's remainder is 0, so it's gonna console log fees. And then if that condition is not satisfying, it's gonna go to the next else if and checks for if the number is divisible by 5 and the remainder is 0, and it's gonna console like buzz. And then if none of those conditions are actually correct, it's gonna go to the last one and only console logs I, which is whatever. I mean, I think it's it's checking from 1 to 20. So it depends which iteration it is, I guess.
Okay.
And then we're calling the function. So I'm just like literally going line by line. I'm not sure.
No, that's exactly what we're trying to do, is we're exactly trying to go line by line and explain what each line goes. And you did it perfectly, but you did it perfectly for if you were talking to another developer.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
but at the same time, that's still something you need to know how to do as well. So if you're talking to a fellow developer, you explained it beautifully, line by line. And that's something that I would normally do. So like if I were to take, let me do not that one. Oh, I wanted to grab this one. That was the problem. I forgot to grab that, sorry. That way you can see what the problem was supposed to be.
Should I just like explain with an example, maybe? Like if the number was 15, that would satisfy.
Sometimes that works. Let me see if I can find the one I was thinking of. Where is, that was programming basics, although that might work. Okay, so like, here's one. I'll put it down here. So with this example, I'm still talking to a developer, so I would change this word. So, oh, if I do this, I can actually keep the line numbers. There we go. So creating a, how would I change the word function to be for a non-developer? Creating a, not function. How do you change function? Because function is very, because like if I were to tell you to create a function and you were a non-developer, you would have no idea what I mean.
Create a method, or I don't know.
Create a job.
Yeah.
Or, oh yeah, create a job or, oh. Or mini program. Called hello. And then the instructions for the function. We'll say instructions for job, saying print the word hello. And then 23, ending job. Line 24, calling the job, meaning allowing it to run. Or actually, instead of calling, it would be run the job. Like, like pressing enter. And then just printing the word dojo. So obviously printing may not be obvious, but if you think of it like in terms of a printer, maybe that's what we're telling it to do. So it's literally just printing that word in a printer. So if we were to take fizz buzz and then change it to more Englishized words, for example, we could go something like creating a job. I like the word job. Job seems to work well. Job called fizz buzz. Creating a job. 1 through 20, and then follows the conditions. Which the conditions would just be the way you explained them would work, actually, because you actually explained them very well when you explained if the current number is divisible, has no remainder after being divided by 3 or 5 and 5, then you print fizz buzz and so on and so forth. But now, if I were the interviewer and I said, why do you have divided by 3 and 5 first? Can you answer that?
I think the reason why that is because if the first one actually satisfies, then we're not gonna need the rest of them. So that's the most, how can I say, tricky part of it. Like a number can be divisible by 3 or 5, but you need to check both conditions at the same time. And the complexity is probably more in there. So you wanna kind of hit it first. I'm not sure. if that actually answers.
No,
it.
actually it does. I like it. You have the reasoning, and that's the whole idea behind this. Can you Englishize a solved algo is, can you explain, like, do you understand what the algo is doing in the first place? And if you can explain it in English words, basically, then you understand the algo and you nailed it on the head in terms of you have to check for 3 and 5 first because it could be 3 or 5, which means those conditions would reset or increase the loop. So like if it hits 3, it's going to automatically go, okay, I've met a condition. Now I'm going to go to the next number. So it'll never print fizz buzz unless you put that first, so it meets the hardest condition or the most complex, like you said, condition first.
Mhm.
And then what about the 2 else ifs? Are they in that order for a specific reason, or does it matter?
So since we have else if after the if, if I recall this correctly, if the first one doesn't meet the condition, then it's gonna go to the second one. So we need another else if to check the divisibility by. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I lost the. Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Like the 2 else ifs,
Mhm.
do they have to be 3 and then 5, or could they be 5 and then 3?
I think they're separate. Doesn't matter which one comes first. That's what I think. Because I mean, I don't see a correlation between them. It's just
Right, because it would satisfy the first condition.
yeah.
Right. So there is no order to those, but it makes sense to have 3 and then 5 because it's going to hit 3 first, most
Oh yeah.
likely, and then 5 next.
Oh yeah, because it's a smaller number, right? I mean, which
But it's not necessary to have them in that order.
yeah.
And then the last question that if I was an interviewer that I would ask is, why else if and not just all if statements?
I think because when you have like different ifs, it has to check out all of them. So basically, the first condition should be true, and then the second and the third kind of thing. Like the order is important. Well, not the order, but basically all the ifs has to be checked. But they have to be true. And like if the first condition is true, then it goes to the second and then check the second and then third. But in this condition, in this way, in this fashion, when if the first if is not true, then it goes to the second one and checks the third one also.
Right. It's still going to check them sort of, but with ifs, we could have multiple print statements because it doesn't care. It just, if the condition is true, we're going to do this. The else if says, if the condition is true, print me unless something else is true before me.
Oh, I see.
So like the if statement is going to print, but the else if can't, because we said, if the first one's not true, then I can print if I'm true.
Okay.
Type of thing. Yeah, the else if makes it one way only, so to speak. Only one should print at a time.
Yeah, true.
That's why I chose this one as the first one, because it's a very common algo to begin with, but at the same time, there's a lot of moving parts in it. So I figured it would be a really good one to explain. You actually did really good at explaining it.
Thank you.
So let's grab another one and see. Okay, so what about these two are the same function?
Yeah.
Get over here. All right. Except one is reusable and one is not.
Mhm.
So,
So the second one is reusable because it
and
has,
what, oh, sorry, go ahead.
sorry, I'm just thinking loud. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, go for it.
I think like since you said one is reusable, this and one is not. So since the first one has numbers, like so it's not reusable. If you want it to be reusable, you need variables or basically parameters. And the second one has parameters in there for function, and then you just call it from outside. So and then you give whatever number you want. So it's reusable because every time you call it, you can have different numbers in there.
Right. So what if I did equals 1 bar B equals 2, and then we did A plus B. And then we gave this one 2 comma 4. Would these two functions now print different results?
Um, you just added a global one on the first one. So then global numbers from outside, it's still like it's still taking those numbers. Well, it's global. So I don't think you want to keep adding global numbers on the first one. It's hold on. I mean, the first one is going to be 1 plus 2. It's going to console log the function with 3. And then the second one, it's going
Right,
to,
the second one's slightly different. I forgot I did that. Hang on, let's take that out. Let's make that exactly the same. So,
okay.
so that now what would it be?
So second one, it's going to sum 2 and 4, which going to return 6.
Right,
So it's going to console log 6.
right. So why doesn't this one use 1 and 2 like this one did? I still have A plus B, and there's A and B here, but why doesn't it use the 1 and 2?
Because you're calling add 02 function in there in order to, because you're giving 2 and 4 to the function add 02. But the other, for the other one, the top one, you're calling add 01, and it doesn't see any, well, you're not giving any numbers. So it just technically just goes, takes those global numbers. Is that,
Mhm.
that's what I think.
No, you're right. You're right. Absolutely. So these are in there. They're hard coded. They can't change, quote unquote. So add 01 isn't being told anything. Stop moving. There it goes. Isn't being told that A and B are going to be anything different other than what the global ones are.
True.
As opposed to add 02, like you said, it is actually getting that extra piece, getting extra information. So which one is the better one to use?
I think the second one still, because, well, I mean, it depends on the case too. Mm, But I mean, I think like I'm used to a second one more, but I saw actually codes that they're actually, well, let's say if you have like, I don't know, if you have a number like pi, which is actually constant on like, I don't know, physics formulation, I don't know, like different form, then you want that to be always constant. So you want that to be global. But if it's like something changeable, let's say A and B is not number, it's like first name and last name for someone, or you're looking for some specific thing. So you want to actually always, you're going to search through different variables every time. So you want to actually use the second function.
That's
Uh,
excellently, very well said, actually. And you're absolutely 100% correct. Add
thank you.
1 and add 2 have their places. Typically, we want to use add 02 because it allows us to reuse the function in multiple ways. We can always throw in a constant variable in here. So like 2, 4, say we had C equals, and I'm just going to abbreviate it 3.14. I could always do that as well.
Mhm.
So we can always inject a constant variable into a function like this. I should have left that as 4 and just done that line again, shouldn't I? And then change that to like C. So we can always do something like this, and then this would be 2 plus 3.14, blah, 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 blah. So it could still potentially have a global variable. But it still makes this one's most of the time. This is probably going to be the one you want to use. You want to make them as dry as possible, which is do not repeat yourself.
Mhm.
Why did we have to add the console log when calling the function?
If you want to see the results, if you want to print them, otherwise, I mean, it's returning something, but you're not gonna see it.
And why not?
Function does its own thing, but I mean, the program wouldn't actually understand how to show it on the console, I think.
No, yeah. So the console log is only going to print if you tell it to.
Yeah.
Or return, there's the potential that it could be showing someplace, but that's typically like on the web page. Or it's
Mhm.
going to be returning an answer so it could be used someplace else or something like that. So yeah, that's the best way to be able to see it. So it sounds like you're pretty comfortable with English sizing things.
Maybe. Thank you.
It's it's not easy sometimes to Englishising things. I had not this one. I'm trying to find this one. No, I have all sorts of stuff over here. No. Um, I apparently had a lot of fun with this one this day. But why not throw that one over here too? Apparently I had a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
this one is a function called feature
Mhm.
that takes 2 parameters, one called cake and one called humans. So it looks like it's looking for, or it's creating a condition that's asking how much is left of the cake / humans. So if condition equals 0, we're going to console log no soup for you. But I don't see how condition is actually being done. I'll see how that's working. There must be something else going on in there. Oh, I guess I would need that, wouldn't I? I guess I should have read that first. Okay, so how much left is another function that's also taking in cake and human. So the result is cake divided by humans. Oh, so when they eat it, how much is left? Which means if there's an even amount of cake in humans, it would have a 0 remainder, right? Or is that modulus? No, that's modulus. trying to English it myself and I'm getting confused. Because like if I was just given this, how would I? Yeah, so we can see a separation there. Okay, so let's try to English this in a different way. So
Melissa, just a quick question. So the triple equal means equal by the number and with the what's it called? With, I mean, whether it's like integer or it's like, I don't know, string, so it should also be equal, like the
the data type.
Yeah, data type, right?
Yep.
Just
So
want to double check. Yeah.
yep, one equal is
Assigning.
assigning, correct.
And then two is the mathematical equal, right?
Yep. Or the same.
Mhm.
And then this one would be exactly the same.
Mhm.
Because this would be 1 equals 1. This would be 1 equals 1.
Oh, okay.
Or sorry, this would be
Yeah,
this would be more like C equals 1.
C
And
equals.
then 1 equals 1.
Yeah.
And the three of them, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That was a good question. Okay, so we're creating a function called how much left that takes in two parameters, the cake and the humans. And the result is the remainder of the cake divided by humans. And then we have a function called feature, which takes something called a condition that utilizes that how much left function. If the return of that function is exactly equal to 0, we're going to print no soup for you. Because there's no leftovers. There's nothing left for anybody to eat. If the condition is less than or equal to 2, there are leftovers. If the condition is greater than or equal to 3 and less than or equal to 5, so between 3 and 5, we can share. If it's greater than 5, I guess we get to have a party. So let's run this so we can see what it actually prints out. Because it's been a while since I've seen this one. So apparently 20 divided by 2, there's no soup for you. Let me put that console log in here. So I'm curious as to what it actually sees. (20 modulus 2). Oh, yeah, because that would be 20 divided by 2 is 10 with nothing left over.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I was like, but it is a number. It's not 0. My brain wasn't thinking the leftovers. It's the remainder is what we're looking at.
Yeah, it seems like.
So let's look at this one. So 12 divided by 5 is 2 remainder of 2. If my brain is correct.
12 divided by 5, so it's 2 times 5, 10. I mean, yeah, we have 2 actually.
Be leftovers, you're right.
hmm.
And then this one, 13, that has 3 left over versus 2 left over. Which would be have share away. But greater than 5 would give us the party time. We should probably create that. So let's see if we can create one that would have greater than 5 left over. I have no idea. I can't even think of a number that would have divided by what would have 5 remaining.
Mm. Oh god.
What about think? No. Oh, duh. I'm a dork. I can't even think of how to do that one. Mm, 15, or let's try 16 and 5. See what that does. My brain, I feel like it should work. All right. Right, because 15 was the next one up. 5's a bad number. Because we're never going to get above 5. So let's do something divided by 6. That should give us
16 divided by
that should give us a 5 remainder of some time, right? Hey, there we go.
by 6. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so that's 4. So let's try 17. Share away. Okay, 18 divided by 6. I feel like that's not going to work, but it
12 divided by 7.
What's that? 12 divided by 7?
Uh-huh.
Oh, oh, that's right. We need a leftover of 6.
Oh, 6. Oh. Um, then 13 divided by 7.
Right, that should work. Logically speaking, in our heads.
Mhm.
Hey, there we go.
That works.
That was a hard one to figure out.
I know.
That was weird. However, it does help us better understand the function a little bit better, as well as trying to figure out why did it keep going back to like no soup for you and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
which is like all part of the whole thing for the week 1 stuff. Oh my goodness. All right, so do you have any questions?
Regarding this one, no, it's just I was wondering, like, in general, what do you suggest to practice? I mean, everywhere I read it's just like redoing them, or like kind of like be consistent to just like revisiting the material that you read before. But I mean, algorithms are like just very like, I don't know, you do it today and then you do it next week, you don't remember. What's your technique?
So for me, my biggest thing is I have to talk out my algorithms. Like any algorithm I'm giving, I have to talk it out. Like I literally would get, like if I was given this problem, I'm like, okay, before I even start writing the code, I would think out loud in my slash head or whatever. What do I need to do? Okay, I need to find a way to get through all the numbers of 1 through 20. I need to a way to find the multiples of 3, find the multiples of 5, and a way to find both. So I would kind of talk it out loud or even make some like mini steps. Like I might do, okay, step 1, go through all the numbers 1 through 20. Meant to put that as a 0. And then next I'm going to have to do find the multiples of 3, 5, and both. And like those are the biggest things that are in that word problem itself. Like, okay, now that I have that, I can figure out the order of things. So in terms of my process, I usually Englishize it first before I ever write any code. Because writing the code afterwards is a lot simpler if you've already put in English words to it, or at least done something like this ahead of time. Like, okay, if I do this, I'm going to do this. Now my line numbers are off, but that's okay. And Leak Code, Hacker Rank, those are some really good ones to go to find algos that you can solve. The algo book that like Coding Dojo has is another good one to have. That's out there a lot. Like the big 13, like if you were to just do a Google search for 13 algorithms. There we go, for a coding interview. Usually they have all 3 of them there. Let's see if this one has it. Never hurts to go by the Fang one. Ooh, that is bright. That does not have anything that I was looking for. All right, so let's go to Chat GPT. Chat never does me wrong. What are the top 13 interview algos? Huh, oh, not the ones I was expecting, but some good ones. Recursion, that one's fun. I had a lot of fun with it one day in class. For recursion, I love the way I have Chat GPT. By the way, this is something, if you don't know, that you can do with Chat GPT. If you go in and you're logged in, you can add some custom instructions where what would you like Chat GPT to know about yourself, and how would you like it to respond? Yeah, like if you noticed, it called me honeybee. And it is going to have things, because I have, in terms of how it responds, I have it saying, I want it to be an ELI 5, if possible. If I don't have the language, ask me. Address me as honeybee. I wanted it to be fun and positive, and I also said that I like the following topics:
I
magic,
see.
magical, baking, gardening, and pets. So a lot of times it will have my descriptions in those. So it
Oh,
makes it more fun
yeah.
and makes it stick out a little bit more. But like I like
Okay.
the way it describes recursion. Solving a puzzle piece by piece where each piece is a similar version of the whole.
Mm-hmm.
But if you actually look at a recursion function, which is the one I have, I know I have it here. Where's this one? I piss my students off all the time with recursion. It's great. So these are all recursion functions.
Mm-hmm.
This is just calling itself in the function.
I see.
But the fun one is this one.
Mm.
We have a data set, but to be able to get into it, we have to call it inside itself, but to go one layer deeper. So we did it like this. Like this is how we solved this one.
Wow.
And then we took this data set and we made it into a Christmas tree.
Oh, oh, that's cool.
We went crazy with it.
That's-
But the
Mhm.
same function works for it.
Yeah, true.
Like I said, we had some fun.
Mhm.
My classes are never simple.
But I agree, actually. If you have something that you like and then you can kind of resemble it too, it sticks to your brain better. Thank you. It was a good note.
Yeah, I have what was I doing the other day? Um oh, I was just trying to separate some Google Sheet stuff. It gave me this enchanting formula, checks if yes, anywhere in the column, brings those rows into sheet 2. I was like, wait, what? I mean, it's silly, but like you said, it really does.
It helps.
Yeah, it kind of just brings it up a little bit more easier to understand. Interview algo magic, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, it can get very boring or like repetitive. It's just you need some fun. Otherwise, it's just not easy to handle.
Right. So I try to have fun with whatever I do personally, but so it looks like these are the top ones. I'll go actually copy this and add that to our sheet for today.
Mhm.
Is this the copy one? I think. Yeah. Hey Brent, how are you?
How's it going? I'm good. I'm good. I was working on a project. How was the session?
13 hours. Well, Annie is very smart.
Hmm.
Oh, that was supposed to be TXT. Oh, I got it. Okay. Because we did today was Englishizing everything, and we did it both ways. First, we tried it where we just Englishized it
Mhm.
as if another developer was reading it, which she did really, really good at. And then it was how would we take like this and Englishize it to a non-developer?
Hmm.
It took us a while to figure out what to call a function. Like,
Yeah.
because that's a very developer-y word.
What's the yeah, yeah.
we said create
Oh,
a job or mini program. Really? Yeah, I guess that works. Job was the only thing I could come up with.
hmm.
But we looked at FizzBuzz, and then we looked at reusable versus non-reusable as to why we would use each one.
I think one of the interesting things, sometimes I think noun and verb is an interesting way of explaining it to people. Like variables are nouns and functions are verbs, and they do things, they perform actions on objects.
Oh. Yeah, but see, I can never remember what a verb is. I know what a
Gotcha.
noun is. That's a person, place, or thing, or apparently idea now.
A verb's in action.
Well, I don't remember.
Run, throw, talk. It's a verb.
Which was over 30 years ago.
It's every day.
No, but I like that. That is good though. That is
Mhm.
one way to relate it. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to write that down now.
Hmm.
So a variable var equals noun, person, place, thing. Function equals verb, action. I like that. That's actually a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last one we looked at was this one. It took us a while to come up with this one so we could get the last else if to fly.
Hmm.
I couldn't think of another one to do, but she got it. And then we just asked ChatGPT what were the top 13 algos that are asked. And I asked it in my ChatGPT, which I have personalized with some custom instructions because it makes it fun.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I wanted to hop in and say, hey, I saw the notice that it was on my Slack. I got to take my dog for a walk, but I wanted to say what's up before the very end.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Cool. And I will send you the recording for the portfolio event in this morning.
Oh, yes. Okay, how'd that
Cool.
go?
Oh, it went great. Went really good. It was pretty short. And then we went over each other's portfolios, so it was awesome.
Nice.